Good afternoon. It's Audrey. I am making a video talking about what happened yesterday because it was requested a lot, and it's also a good way to document it and my feelings and thoughts and whatnot better than yesterday, which was me live streaming about 2 minutes after it happened and like being embarrassing and in shock and just a lot. So I'm sporting my sweatshirt today because why not? But so for those of you who watched the live stream or those of you who didn't, if you haven't watched it, don't go watch it. It's like super embarrassing and it ain't cute is what I'm really trying to say. So I live streamed right after it happened and like talked about some of the things that Dan and I spoke about and like kind of tried to give a synopsis of it, but I was like shocked and shaking and just like trying to get everything out in the open so that instead of people tweeting me endlessly and asking and whatever, I was just like, I started tweeting about it and then I was immediately like, I need to just live stream so people know, whatever. But I hadn't had time to like reflect and think about all of it yet, and like there were some things I forgot and things that like I didn't like touch on as much as I should have, and some things especially because I remember some things that he like said exactly that like I just kind of summarized in the live stream, and there were people that were like, what exactly did he say? So I figure I should do that now since I can. But I have like I wrote out the exact conversation that we had pretty much. I don't want to just like read it out because that's not really, I mean, to you guys it's not gonna be super interesting for me to sit here and read out a script of what was said, but I'm gonna try to kind of summarize it again, but I have more of the information now, and yeah, so I figure I can do that, and if you want to watch it you can. If not, it's fine, I'm not gonna be hurt. I would like to say though that so this call was 4 minutes long. I checked my phone record, it just says 4 minutes, it doesn't say like 4 minutes and however many seconds, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. In the live stream I actually guessed it was like a 3 to 5 minute phone call, so I was kind of on the dot. And so also as the precursor, just to say again, I had called the number like 5 times, 5 or 6 times, and then I got an answer, like it started ringing and then it clicked and then I heard like breathing and like air or something and then it disconnected. So, and that phone call I checked was like 20 seconds long. So then I was like kind of shook by that. I was like, was that him answering and like I missed it? Like I was freaking out. Rightfully so. So I called like 5 or 6 more times. In total, I think I called 11 times. Because I was just like, whoa. And so it started ringing again. And I was like, okay, this is happening again, I guess. But I was like, this is fake. Like, they're probably just having it ring for people because it's the message is going to be changed, something, whatever. So then it clicks, and I hear, hello? Pardon my British accent, yikes. And still I was like, this is a recording, like what's happening? Or like, are they gonna have like an automated Dan talking to us on the phone? Like, what's the deal? Because I thought he was in England still. Like, this was the time, like this was happening all kind of early. Like, he hadn't said he was calling people back on Twitter yet or whatever. Like, this was just all starting. So I had no idea. There was nothing on Twitter like have him being like, call me, anything like that. So I assumed like this is fake. And I was like, there's no way he would be calling the American number, because why would he do that? Like, he's gonna be in Chicago and New York this week. Like, why would he be doing this today? Like, he just premiered it on BBC, which I hadn't realized again at this time that it was like pre-recorded, whatever. So says hello. I say hello back. Because I'm like, if this is an automated thing and it's gonna like catch me saying something, replying back, then I want to see what happens. So I just said hello. He was like, who's this? Like, very questiony. And I was like, that sounds a lot like him. Like, obviously I like knew it was his voice and everything, but I was like, that sounds like a lot like what he would say. I'm like, I was like, hi, this is Audrey. I'm gonna be looking down at this. This is my phone that died a few days ago or whatever, so I have it on here. But I was like, hi, this is Audrey. And the moment he said, oh, hello, Audrey, I was like, what? Like that, like when he said my name, I was like, there's no way that this can be like not what I'm really thinking it is right now. But I was like, whoa. And then as soon as he said that, he like paused and laughed a little bit, and he was just like, lovely. And I was like, I didn't really realize if he was talking about my name for a second yet, and I was about to be like, thank you, but he was like he's like, I'm wearing Audrey from Twin Peaks right now on my t-shirt at the moment, or something like that. He said at the moment. I was like, at the moment I'm wearing Audrey from Twin Peaks on my shirt. And I was like, what? Like in my brain I was like, a lot is happening right now, like this is kind of crazy. And I was like, no way, like she's my favorite, because she and Dale Cooper are my favorites on Twin Peaks, obviously. And then I don't know why, but I just kept speaking. I was just like, but actually, Audrey Hepburn is who I'm named after, fun fact. And he, in the most Dan fashion that he could, he was like, whoa, that's wicked. And I was like, that was kind of the moment where I was like, wow, okay, I'm speaking to Dan again, because like, this was kind of like how it felt talking to him in real life, like when I was meeting him, like this was kind of his cheery disposition, and like he seemed happy to talk to me and all that. So I didn't like, at this point it was just like the gears were turning in my head, and I was like thankful that he was still talking, because I was like, I wouldn't know what to say right now. Like I was really processing it. So immediately after he was like, whoa, that's wicked, he was like, so Audrey, whereabouts are you from? And I remember he said that exactly, because I was like, again, I was like, this is so Dan, like I can't believe that this isn't fake right now. I was just trying to like get through it. I was like, just push it out of your mind right now, have this phone conversation, everything's fine. And I was like, so I'm from the state of Maryland, but I'm about an hour or so from DC actually, so I'm close to the DC area. And so he was like, cool, and he like kind of like paused for a second, and I was like wondering if he was gonna keep asking questions, so I was trying to think of what I wanted to say, and like everything that I wanted to say and could have said, so many things that I could say to him just were like leaving my mind. But he was like, cool, and then he was like, so how are you, what have you been up to today? And I was like, I'm good, I've been at work, I've been teaching. He was like, oh wow, really? He was like, what do you teach? And I was like, so, because I didn't want to try to explain like everything about my job, because like right now I'm kind of substituting and I'm kind of not, because I'm like on call for schools, but I didn't want to go through all that. But I was just like, I actually have an elementary education degree, so I'm licensed to teach 1st grade through 5th grade, but right now I work at a bunch of different schools, and that's just how I described it. And he was like, oh, that's amazing. And then he stopped for a second. He was like, but wait, so I'm a stupid British person. Or no, he said I'm a stupid British man. And he was like, I don't understand the grade stuff. Like, what are they, like, age groups? Like, he asked, what are the age groups, specifically? And I was like, so 1st grade is, like, 5 to 6-year-olds, depending on when they get out of kindergarten, and preschool. And then 5th grade is, like, 10 to 11-year-olds, and I just said something about, like, the kids, that I was like, yeah, they're definitely a crazy age group, they're a crazy bunch of kids, doing elementary school. And he was like, oh wow, that's really great what you do, like, teaching is so important. I'm sorry, I'm like doing a British accent, I'm like, that's how I'm hearing it in my head. And, like, when he said that, I was just, like, very, like, I remember taking a deep breath and being like, this is so crazy that, like, he's asking me about my life and, like, he really cares. And, like, I'm a 23-year-old woman, like, I'm not shook by people caring about me, like, that's not, but it's one of those things where it's like, this is your favorite band, you've loved them for so long, like, it's a thing that doesn't happen to everybody, and it was just like, wow, like, he's asking me about my life, like, he's my friend from high school that I'm catching up with that I ran into at a coffee shop, like, yeah, so, but yeah, so after he said, like, teaching's so important, I was like, funny you say that, and I started laughing, and he, like, kind of laughed with me, and he was like, what? I was like, I actually kind of did a bad thing today, and I couldn't really help, like, laughing, because I was like, I can't believe I'm, like, describing it like this, but I was like, so I took my planning period when I didn't have any kids, because teachers all get planning periods, where they can, like, work on grades, do all of that, so it's basically kind of like a break for them, but for teachers, you never really have a break, you're just always doing work, there's always grading to be done, there's always something, but for me, it's not usually the case, but I was like, I took my planning period when I didn't have any kids, and I was in the room alone or whatever, and I turned on the BBC radio show to hear midnight, which ended up working out, like, really well for me, because planning periods sometimes change depending on the day, and it worked out really well. It worked out really well yesterday. And so I was like, yeah, I tuned in to listen to the midnight premiere. I remember it so clearly in my head, I can replay it over and over again, but he was like, no way! He was like, really? And then he was laughing. And he was like, that's so nice of you. And I was like, I was so excited, so I gave up a little bit of my work time to listen in. And he was like, you didn't get into any trouble or anything, did you? And he was like, I would feel quite bad. I hope you really liked it then. He was, like, kind of laughing about it, that I would take part of my work day to listen, but I'm like, does he realize, like, so many people were doing this and have done this for him? Like, you have fans, dude. Like, this is how it works. But, yeah, so I was like, no, everything was fine, and then I was, like, about work, and then I was like, the song is amazing, by the way, and everyone who knows me is used to me not shutting up about you guys. I saw your show 4 times last year, actually, and I spend my teaching salary on going to concerts all the time, like an idiot. I remember him laughing, and he laughed after I was saying that, like, people who know me know that I never shut up about you guys, which, like, is true. And, so yeah, I was like, saw his show 4 times, but I spend all my teaching salary on concerts in general, which is true. Not just on them, believe me. But he was like, wow, really, like, thank you so much for coming out, which he was referring, to the shows, whatever, so immediately I was like, I wanted to, like, catch onto that, because I knew he was talking about the shows, and I was like, I want to make sure I tell him that, like, I've met him or whatever, so I was like, it was incredible, really. I actually, I saw you guys 4 times, but I actually kind of separately won these 2 radio contests, to meet you. One in Charlotte was a complete chance, because my friend had won, and she had already invited someone else, but they had an extra opening, and that I found out about, like, 15 minutes before it happened. And then I also, won the Philly beer garden contest, over the radio, and it was the day before that was happening, and I was already planning on going, but, I won beer garden tickets, and he was like, wow, he was like, that's so lucky, and he was like, I remember this sentence, like, so specifically, I don't know why, it, like, stuck out in my mind, but he was like, I'm, like, the most unlucky person in the world. That's legitimately what he said. And he was like, I've never won anything in my life. I remember him saying that, and because I remember him saying that very specifically, I never won anything in my life, because in my brain I'm like, you've won a Brit, like, you've won awards, like, what are you talking about, dude? But, like, I knew he wasn't talking about that, and, like, those were, like, awards that he earned. It wasn't, like, winning something by chance. But yeah, he was like, I've never won anything in my life. And I was like, that's usually how I am, too. And he was like, that's so cool. It's like lightning struck you twice. And he paused, and I was, like, kind of laughing about it, because I was like, that's a very good analogy, and it's so true. And he paused, and he was like, wait, that makes me sound a bit cocky. Like, I'm important or something. And I remember him saying that, like, I'm important or something. And he started laughing awkwardly. He did his, like, awkward little giggle. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I, like, for a second I kind of forgot I was talking to him, and I thought I was just kind of, I felt more comfortable. I mean, I was comfortable the whole time, obviously, like, for sure. But I was just like, oh my gosh, Dan, like, you're important to me. And I was like, you gotta stop being so self-deprecating all the time, because you're lovely and wonderful. I remember I said that because I'm used to saying that, like, I'm used to saying things are lovely and wonderful. It's just, like, a thing I say. But he immediately, he's like, oh, and then he laughs. He was like, thank you, love. And when he said that, I was like, please keep talking so I can, like, be okay with that. And, so he was like, he was like, I can't help it sometimes when I say something rather stupid. I was like, I'm like that too, though. I'm horrible at taking my own advice. And we just kind of, like, laughed about that. And I was like, I hope you know that we all love and support you guys. And he was like, I was so nervous for the song to come out today. I was worried people wouldn't like it or something. And I was like, I absolutely love it, genuinely. Like, it's amazing. And he was like, I'm so glad. I'm anxious to hear everyone's thoughts about it. It's been a really crazy day. And so then he was like, so it's been so lovely speaking with you. Thank you. I'm actually going to try to make some more calls now. And I was like, thank you so much. You've really made my day. So then I had to sneak in this stupid little thing, and I was, I was like, by the way, thank you for all the selfies on Instagram, letting us know what day of the week it is. Otherwise, we'd never know it. And, he literally did the hee laugh that he does, like the hee, like, to himself. And he was like, oh, thank you. And he was like, thank you for supporting us. And, it took me a second, like, when he said that I was like, this is so crazy that, like, yeah, I support you, but, like, you just answered my phone call. Like, you support us. Like, that was, like, you know, it kind of hit me weird, but he was like, oh, thank you. And he was like, love you lots. Have a great rest of your day, then. I was like, thank you, you too. Love you so much. And I was like, this is so weird, like, ending a phone call. And he was like, goodbye, Audrey. And I was like, bye. And it ended. And as soon as it ended, I, like, because I was pacing around my room the whole time this was happening, because I was in my room when it happened. I was laying in bed calling with my phone plugged into the charger, and as soon as he, like, answered, I unplugged it and was, like, pacing. And I was really sad that I didn't think to record any of it. It was just, like, at the time I was, like, kind of one of the first people that this, like, started happening to, at least on, like, Stan Twitter and stuff, so, like, I just wasn't even thinking about it. I didn't think it would happen. I didn't have my other phone on me, otherwise that's what I would have done, and it was downstairs anyway. So I hung up the phone, and I immediately am, like, genuinely in shock that that happened, and I tried walking down the stairs, and I was just, like, I felt, like, heavy-footed, and my mom was sitting on the couch, and I just am, like, laughing and crying at the same time. Like, I was, like, it was confusing, and my mom was like, are you okay? Are you upset or are you happy? I can't tell. was like, I don't know, I'm a lot of both right now. What? So, and then that's when that happened, and I immediately went outside and started live streaming. This is a 20-minute video. I'm like really sorry that it's this long. But there are people that really were interested in knowing, and I feel really bad that there's some people who are calling for forever and ever, and genuinely just like wanted to have a conversation with him, and I feel undeserving, but I feel genuinely so blessed that it happened, and there's so many good things that have happened to me through Bastille and through you guys, and I always feel so undeserving of it, and I almost wish that I hadn't gotten a call and it would have been someone else that I know who hasn't met them or hasn't seen them in concert or like hasn't had lovely interactions with them and stuff already. Like, I feel bad. And then once I found out he called Mitch, and then like slowly it started happening to other people. It started happening to Taylor and Joe later at night, and I felt like I was just mind blown, but I was also like mind blown that people were like, oh, you should try calling again, like he's answering calls again. And as soon as I got sent that, I was like, I don't even feel deserving of getting that the first time, but imagine if I were to call and get him again. That would be just like so disrespectful to all of these other people that have been calling for hours and hours after it happened to me, and me spending more of his time talking to me, who he's already spoken to, instead of someone else who would really appreciate speaking with him. And then that's when Jess got to speak with him on the phone, which I was like, I'm so glad that these deserving people and these people who have such amazing things to say to them, to him, are getting to say it. And that's, I guess, where I'm gonna leave that. I didn't want to call again. I don't think I'm going to call the number ever again, just on that off chance, but who knows. I genuinely am so thankful for this, and I'm so thankful that my favorite band and all of the members of my favorite band, like, take their time and care about their fans and spend their time answering phone calls. I mean, that's not something that bands do. That's not something that artists do. I mean, I genuinely don't think I've ever seen anything like this campaign. Like, the only time that I've seen artists, like, answer fans' phone calls or talk to fans on the phone is either A, when a radio station, like, surprises a fan over the phone, or B, when, like, someone's meeting a band and then they call their friend on the phone so that the person can talk to them. Otherwise, this is not a thing that you see happen. And I just genuinely want to get this out there to say that I appreciate this band and this music and these people and this family of stans that are like in my life now. Just, I'm so thankful for everything that's happened on account of everybody, and I'm so looking forward to all of the new music that's coming and all the new experiences and the new shows and whatever there is else to come. I'm so ready and excited for it, and I will wait patiently for however long I need to, because I've done it before for this band and I'll do it again. And after the gift I was just given, I will wait for however long that I need to. But thank you so much for listening. I'm glad I could get to explain this and share it with the people who were really interested in knowing. I know a lot of people have experiences like these and want to keep them to themselves and want them to be special for them, but I also feel like there were people that really wanted me to share this and wanted to share in my joy and my happiness, which is so nice, but also just like wanted to know how it was and are just genuinely interested, and I wanted to share that. So if you've watched this long, thank you so much. I'm sorry it's so long, but thank you. Thank you for everybody who has congratulated me, and thank you for everyone who is my friend and my pal, and has been so kind and lovely to me since yesterday. So I will end this. I love you all so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.